Stop being too nice. Now we all know nice guys finish last. Am I being too nice? This is what we're going to discuss in today's coffee time chat, where we get real and talk about things that we all know but don't really say. Now, unfortunately, being too nice doesn't always get you what you want, and many times it can have the opposite effect. Being too nice can push people away. It can even make people take you for granted, or even worse, take advantage of you. I really wanted to talk about this, even though it's a bit of a difficult topic, just because I know we've all been there. We all have these thoughts. And hell, you might even be going through a mild form of nice-litis right now. I actually like the way I did that, but yes. Okay, so I'll tell you my experience, but before I do, I just wanted to say, one of the reasons I actually made this coffee time chat and what inspired me to make these coffee time chats is I wanted to have like an outlet, a way of exploring an avenue to have these conversations, these uncomfortable conversations that we all kind of think about but we don't always have. And I wanted to use that as a way to start the conversation and to just kind of have that light bulb moment where you're like, somebody else is going through this, I'm going through this. And it reminds me of the line from one of Lauryn Hill's songs where she says, the devil's doing the same thing to me that he's doing to everybody else, which means I'm going through it, you're going through it, we're all going through it, we're all going through the same shit at some point or another. Now for me, I find many times when I've been too nice to friends or people that I know, while some may appreciate it, there's also some who will take you for granted, some who will kind of pull away and not give you as much of that attention back, and instead will give their attention to other people who in a way are not as nice and are a bit more colder, for example. Now, even though I'm talking about friendships, we all know it's the same for relationships. You give too much of yourself, you be too nice, you go out of your way, and then the other person takes it for granted and they end up pulling away. Because as we all know, people want what they can't have. And just when you start pulling back yourself, suddenly that person starts coming back and giving you more attention. And I'm sure you agree, many times it's almost like it feels like the law of gravity, where it just seems so real. Now, sometimes you may think the answer is just to stop being so nice. But what if that goes against your values of being a nice, genuine, considerate, caring person? And in a way, if you do then do that, aren't you then changing yourself to make people like you or to respond with other people? Like, almost like we all know you shouldn't change yourself just so people like you or for your friends. But at the same time, in this way, if you are changing yourself to be more cold and distant, when your nature is to be nice and considerate, are you also then in the same sense changing yourself to suit somebody else? And in the same way, talking about friendships, I feel the same way, where should I stop being nice? Should I stop being too nice, going above and beyond? But then I also think that's not really in my nature as a value. Like, I want to be nice, I'm genuinely caring, I have a genuine interest in my friends. If I was to stop that, then that's me going against that, and I feel that would be me changing who I am to meet or fit somebody else's wants or needs. Now, I've also thought maybe the answer is just to remove myself from the situation and just not to be in there in the first place. But that again is a complicated thing where, I don't know, like, do you just remove yourself from a situation, or is there a middle ground where you kind of mirror their behavior, you mirror them, you mirror what somebody does for you and what you do for them? But again, it's all just quite complicated now. The funny thing is usually when I have my coffee time chats, I have some kind of perspective where I've gone through something and I'm kind of like, this is what I found. In this one, to be honest, it's a little more complicated, where I do literally have this little conflict where we all know being too nice sometimes, as I said, it can push people away. People take you for granted. Even worse, they might even take advantage of you. But then what is the answer for this one? I actually would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I mean, do you stop being too nice? Do you change who you are and just reciprocate that way? Do you remove yourself from the situation, or hell, do you even just like mirror their behavior? So as I said, the jury is still out, so please do help me out in the comments and really help start this conversation to give us another fresh perspective. So to be nice or not to be nice, to remove yourself from a situation or not to remove yourself from a situation, to behave and be cold and uninterested, or to be cold and uninterested. Now, those are the questions that Shakespeare should have been asking. I feel if he did, we would have the answers by now. So that's my video on, am I being too nice? Should I stop being too nice? Nice guys finish last. I really want to know what you think in the comments. And of course, if you do enjoy this video, please do check out the other video that I'm going to link to this, which is giving more of yourself than someone's willing to give, where I talk about something similar, and maybe that will also get you thinking as well. Thanks so much for joining me for today's video. If you haven't already subscribed, please do consider subscribing. And thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.